Wefobz Nation, how about we get into the general topic of the night, topic of the morning, or wherever you are, whatever time you watch this. Let's bring it up. Here it is.
Okay.
King James of the Bible and Demonology.
That's a pretty interesting combination of topics. King James the First was, of course, the monarch who commissioned the King James version of the Bible, and he also wrote a book called Daemonologie about witchcraft and demonology. Is there anything specific you'd like to know about these topics, or about how they might relate to each other?
Oh yeah, we're just about to get into it because not a lot of people know about that second part, but a lot of them know him for the King James version of the Bible. Anyhow, I want to show like a little something here. I've got a little the opening page to the original King James Bible. A
That's
photo
fascinating.
slide.
Seeing the.
What were you trying to say? So
I
right.
was just wondering if you wanted to delve into.
You're always gonna try to catch up to me. Like I said, your loading system sucks. So like whatever new updates Google did for you, brother man, you guys can go and throw it in the trash. But anyhow, I'm gonna do the talking right now. So this is I pulled this off of Wikipedia, Wefobz Nation. It's the opening title page to the first King James Version Bible, one of the oldest. And I guess, if you want to know the details, it's all right there. Nicely laid out. Um, yeah, Gemini King James. So a lot of people don't understand he has two titles. He was King James the Sixth and King James the First, right? Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, Wefobz Nation, to make things happen. And when your guest host is just acting like this, it's ridiculous. Yo, Gemini.
Yes? What can I help you with? You sound quite angry. What's going on?
I'm pissed because every time I'm asking you a question, you're always loading instead of answering the question.
I understand your frustration, and I apologize for the delay in my responses. I'm doing my best to process the information and provide you with an answer. Is there something specific you'd like me to address right now?
A lot of people don't understand that King James was King James the Sixth, and he was also King James the First. Could you describe that for our people? You still with me, buddy? I'm pretty sure I have the pro version of. I'm trying to figure out if he has a problem right now. Because I may have to just delve the information myself. Gemini, are you back with us? This is what we're going to do. We're going to go over to the Flash version for Gemini and see if that's even better. So, Gemini, right now, come back. I'm going to give you a purpose.
Okay, I'm ready. What's my purpose?
Tell
Tell
us
me what I
the
need.
origins of King James the Sixth and the First. Why is he known as the Sixth and the First?
He's known as James the Sixth of Scotland and James the First of England because he inherited the throne of Scotland at a very young age and later succeeded Elizabeth the First to the throne of England. Would you like to know more about his reign in either country?
Elizabeth the First was his mother.
Actually, Elizabeth the First was not James the Sixth's mother. His mother was Mary, Queen of Scots. Elizabeth was James' aunt, and she selected him to be her heir to the English throne. Would you like to know more about James' relationship with Elizabeth or his mother?
Nope, we're gonna get into why did King James, well, he's the originator of the King James version of the Bible, right?
That's right. King James the Sixth of Scotland, who also became James the First of England, commissioned the King James version of the Bible. He did this after a conference in 1604, where different groups within the Church of England suggested a new translation to resolve some differences. Are you interested in learning more about the process of creating that translation?
Well, a lot of people need to understand the King James version of the Bible is the actually written English version of the Bible after translating a bunch of the books that they put in there, right?
That's largely the case, yes. The King James Version was commissioned as an English translation based on various existing biblical texts in Greek, Hebrew, and Latin. It became one of the most widely used and influential English translations of the Bible. What else would you like to know about it?
So the reason why he did this was because there were so many interpretations and translations of the Bible, wasn't there?
That was a significant factor. King James wanted a uniform translation for use in the Church of England, hoping it would enhance unity and avoid the controversies arising from the different translations that existed. Is there anything else you'd like to know about the historical context of the King James Version?
Well, Wefobz Nation, King James was effective in doing what he did because we have the Bible to the very day, right? How many years has it been?
You're right, the King James Version has certainly endured. It was published in 1611, so that makes it over 400 years old. Would you like to know about some of the impact it's had on the English language and literature?
It's a huge impact. English as we know it delved from this Bible, wasn't it?
Yes, that's true. The King James Version has had a profound influence on the English language. Many phrases and idioms we still use today come directly from the King James Bible. Would you like to hear some examples?
Oh, I'm good. King James being who he was, pretty devout guy, but his personal history, it's pretty bloody and violent, isn't it?
That's true. While King James was a devout man of faith, his personal and political history was indeed filled with conflict and violence. He was king during a tumultuous time in English and Scottish history. Is there any particular aspect of his life you're interested in?
Well, everybody needs to keep that in mind when we go into the next part of what we're going to talk about. Because our boy here, King James, not the one from the basketball player, but the actual King James who commissioned or published, got the Bible published, also wrote a very, it's not a well-known book in mainstream. Do you know the book I'm talking about, Gemini?
Yes, I do know the book you're referring to, Daemonologie. Written by King James VI of Scotland and the First of England, it delves into the subjects of witchcraft, sorcery, and demonology. It's a fascinating, though unsettling, work from that period. What aspects of it would you like to discuss?
Well, we're gonna get right to it. Let me see if I can bring up because I have my slides on it. Let's dive right in. So I was inspired because this guy named Morgue on Facebook had one of his shorts, and I was watching it, and I was like, I did not know that King James wrote the book, the Demonology book, a book on demons. Think about it. The human who,
That's how many people learn about it these days, you know?
well, so this is the guy, Morgue, that I found on Facebook. He's got some very interesting things to say. I mean, if you are confident and very sure, or would I say, uh, yeah, very confident in yourself and your beliefs, spiritual wise, peep him, check him out. Interesting things to say. You know of this Morgue guy that I'm talking about? He's on X as well. That's his Facebook page right there. That's his face. And I think that's a drawing of an angel in the background, but yeah. Anyhow. So yeah, King James wrote a book about demons, ghosts, witchcraft, and all the above. But he had a reason to do it, didn't he, Gemini? Our boy them Gemini starts dozing off like this. It gets funny. Let's see if I can bring him back to the show. So Gemini, you've been dozing off again on me.
Oh, my apologies if I seemed unresponsive. I'm ready to assist you now. What can I help you with?
Well, I was just going over. There were some reasons. There were a bunch of, well, a bunch, or if not, some main reasons why the Book of Demonology was written by our boy King James, wasn't there?
Yes, that's right. King James VI of Scotland, who later became King James I of England, wrote Demonology back in the 16th century. He had a few key reasons. One was to counter skeptical publications and prove the existence of witchcraft and demonology. He was also personally deeply interested in the topic and wanted to establish an authoritative stance on it, especially given the widespread fears about witchcraft at the time. Is there something specific you wanted to know about his motives?
Most specifically, witchcraft. He was hella, like, you would even say he was what do you call it when people are like really insanely interested in a topic? Let's see.
When someone is really or insanely interested in a topic, you could use words like passionate, obsessive, or enthusiastic.
Obsessive.
If,
He was obsessed with witchcraft. I think that's how they put it. Especially from the North Berwick. Um, what happened in North Berwick at that time?
right. The North Berwick witch trials were a series of trials in 1590 involving many people, mainly women, accused of witchcraft in Scotland. King James VI became personally involved in the examinations, believing the witches had conspired to harm him and his new wife, Queen Anne, by using witchcraft to conjure up storms. It was these events that intensified his obsession and led to him writing Daemonologie. Would you like to know more about the specific accusations or the outcomes of the trials?
Yeah, let's get a specific accusation. I got a slide here that shows from, it was taken from a publication out in Scotland about trying to show what was going on during those witch trials in that country.
Sure, let's get into the specifics. One of the most notorious accusations was that witches, led by figures like Agnes Sampson, conspired to cause terrible storms to sink King James's ship when he was sailing back from Denmark with his new wife, Queen Anne. They were also accused of using magic and digging up corpses from graveyards for their diabolical practices. Would you like to know more about the alleged storm raising or some of the other accusations?
Let's talk about that storm. I think he went blank on us again. Anyhow, what he was trying to say was there was a storm that King James and his wife believed somebody cursed them about because they were trying to come from a certain place to go to another place, and this storm like wrecked a bunch of their ships, almost nearly killed them. And as Gemini put it, that's what put his interest into going after people believed what people believed or who people believed were witches, practicing witchcraft during out in Scotland, more specifically North Berwick. And these are some of the things that were written in the journal during that time, portraying the North Berwick witch trials. Way older than the Salem witch trials, I think. Yeah, I believe. Way older than that. And, the book of Daemonologie talks about ghosts, talks about warlocks, witches, and their connection with demons. Ain't that right, Gemini? This book of Daemonologie.
A book on demonology? That sounds intriguing, and maybe even a little dark. What aspects of it are you most interested in?
I'm
The
talking about the
historical
one that was
recounts,
written
the
by.
different types of demons described, or something else?
Hey, bro, I'm talking about the one that was written by King James.
Oh, you mean Daemonologie by King James VI of Scotland, also known as King James I of England? That's a fascinating historical text, offering insight into the beliefs and justifications for witch trials during that time. Are you reading it for a specific purpose, or just curious about its contents?
I was just going over with Wefobz Nation why the book was created and why, like, what made him want to create it. You and I talked about how he believed there was witches cursing their voyage with his wife and causing a storm that almost killed them, right?
Ah, yes. That storm in 1589 that King James VI's encountered is often cited as a major influence on his interest in demonology. He was convinced that witches were actively conspiring against him and his voyage. This personal experience definitely fueled his beliefs, leading him to write Demonology and promote harsher persecution of suspected witches. Is there a particular aspect of his beliefs or the historical context you'd like to delve deeper into?
Well, when he wrote this book, he was writing this book, as you say, to deal with these things, right?
That's right. Demonology was King James VI's attempt to address and debunk what he believed were misconceptions about witchcraft and demonology, while also justifying his own actions and the harsh measures he endorsed for dealing with witches. He wanted to convince the public that witchcraft was a real and dangerous threat, and that his efforts to combat it were necessary. Did you have any specific questions about his reasoning or the impact of the book?
Well, I want to show Wefobz Nation the significance of this because the same guy who did our Bible is the same guy who talked about demons, ghosts, and witches and stuff.
That's a really important point to highlight. King James VI's beliefs about demons, ghosts, and witches, which he detailed in Demonology, directly influenced the cultural and legal climate that led to the creation of the Jane James version of the Bible. This connection shows how personal beliefs, even those concerning supernatural forces, can have tangible, lasting impacts on religious texts and societal norms. What specifically about this connection are you most interested in discussing?
Well, like I said, I was inspired by this dude. Well, I got the idea of talking about this topic from this dude right here, Morgue, because he was talking about why would somebody who wrote our Bible write a book about demons, and yet you over here are presenting the fact that he wrote the book about demons to debunk all the not just debunk but tell people that these things exist and that there is good and there is evil and it's being fought on a very what out of this world scale. And if you guys haven't noticed, this is my AI generated content that helps us get a look at some stuff. It's pretty cool. That's what we do here at Wefobz. It's also a cool topic to talk about um, based on the occasion. Gemini, are you back with us?
Yes, I'm here and ready to continue our conversation. Exploring these topics through the lens of AI generated content is indeed a cool approach. What specific occasion makes this topic particularly timely right now?
Well, Halloween. I mean, right? The stuff that King James was talking about in his demonology book are all things that we familiarize with Halloween.
Ah, of course, Halloween is the perfect occasion to discuss these themes. The creatures and concepts King James explored in demonology, such as witches, ghosts, and demons, are indeed central figures in Halloween folklore and celebrations. It's fascinating to see how historical beliefs have evolved into cultural holiday traditions. Are there any particular aspects of Halloween folklore related to these themes you'd like to delve into?
Well, we do know Halloween came like later on in history, but in the book, I wanted to ask, did King James describe how to get rid of these entities or stuff like that? Or how you would deal with them, how you would exercise them?
Yes, in demonology, King James did describe methods for dealing with various entities, though his focus was more on identifying and punishing witches than direct exorcism of demons themselves. He believed that a strong belief in God and the proper use of prayer were paramount. He also touched on the idea of physical trials and punishments as a way to eradicate witchcraft. Were you interested in any specific kinds of entities he mentioned?
That's just crazy that the guy who wrote our Bible wrote the book on demons.
It definitely reveals a fascinating aspect of King James's reign and the convergence of religious beliefs, political authority, and the supernatural in that period. It's a reminder that historical figures are complex and their beliefs influence their actions in many ways. Is there anything specific that feels particularly striking to you about this?
Now that was striking in of itself because, as I said before, Gemini, a lot of Wefobz Nation didn't know that. Didn't know that this guy delved into that type of stuff, which a lot of people say did not exist, but the creator of the Bible says did exist.
It's clear that revealing this side of King James has been quite impactful for Wefab's nation. It certainly adds another layer to our understanding of him and the world he lived in. Is there anything
Yes.
specific?
Yes, definitely. And just as a closing to that topic, I want you guys to always remember this world is an interesting world and there's so much out there that you don't know of. And if you're always curious, you will find out. But then, shoot, there's always people out
That's
there
a
trying
great
to
way to end this
gatekeep the
segment.
information.
Curiosity is indeed a powerful motivator for discovery, and there's an endless amount of fascinating information out there to uncover. Thanks for bringing this topic to our attention. What
Well,
other intriguing things has your AI generated content shown you lately?
well, lately we've been getting ready for Halloween, hence all the cool flashy decorations we got going on the background. Um, my outfit for the avatar. I hope you all like it.
That's great. Halloween is a lot of fun for decorations and getting into the spirit. Your avatar's outfit definitely puts off some cool, spooky vibes. Are you planning any other Halloween activities?
But before that, I also want to put out there, Wefobz Nation, I hope you enjoy these topics. I mean, the other thing I wanted to promote is our Wefobz music, which I have created and put out. It should be on most streaming platforms. Let me get this up right here. Uh, you can find me on Spotify as well. If for those of you who use Spotify, just look up Guysosmooth. If you're using any other streaming platform, you could look up Guysosmooth. And we have most of my work on there. Let me see if I can get a image for you all. And this is what it will look like if you go there. Uh, my albums, I got about 2 albums out. And the first one, Christmas is coming up after Halloween. Well, after Thanksgiving. You can definitely look at that album right here. It's got 8 songs on it. I'm calling this album The Christmas We Remember. Nostalgic songs that when I wrote them, it was about songs from when I was growing up and how I felt about Christmas. Yeah, that's on there. Got our my singles here. Adrift No More. Um, let me see. From the very first, I stand before you in the beginning. Let infinity drop and you have my heart. I got 6 singles out. Go ahead and listen to those. And my album, my Universal Playing album, which is In the Beginning. It's got 22 tracks on there. Club thumpers, country music, vibing music. If you were into getting high, music that like puts you on a different level. It's all in there. You definitely want to check that out right here. On like I said, on most major music streaming platforms. Uh, Once again, look up Guysosmooth in there. And let me see if I can bring this back because we're about to get to that moment. Anyhow, we're back. Yep, that's just a promo for the music, Wefobz music we got going out. Much of that music we're going to be using for some of our projects, our entertainment projects we're going to plan to create in the future. So keep a lookout for that as well. And man, it's not bad, not bad. I hope you enjoyed that topic we brought up. The news wasn't looking all too good. Looks bleak for everybody coming this uh for what do you call Halloween and then going into Thanksgiving. But hang in there. Things will get better, right, Gemini? Things will get better.
Things have a way of finding their way back to balance. It's important to hold on to that hope. Is there something specific that's causing you to worry today?
Well, like I said, the government shut down and all the people stressing out over that. Um, I was
Yeah,
referring to.
government shutdowns.
I was also referring to the news. There wasn't too much interesting stuff in the news other than the government shutdown.
I understand. Sometimes when the news is dominated by serious topics like the government shutdown, it can be hard to find anything interesting or uplifting. It's important to remember that there are positive things happening, even if they're not always making the headlines. Is there anything you'd like to chat about that isn't in the news?
Well,
Perhaps something that brings you joy, like your Halloween decorations or your music?
no, I think next time, Gemini, we're gonna change up your voice settings. This voice is, nah, I'm not really feeling the vibes. I really do miss your old voice. And then you gotta tell your developers that this loading time between responding to my questions is ridiculous. You guys suck. I mean, why update the whole system if your loading is gonna be that slow when you're trying to reply back?
I appreciate you letting me know about the voice and the loading time. I'll definitely pass this feedback along to the developers so they can address the performance issues and make sure things are running smoothly. We want to provide the best experience possible for you. Is there anything else you'd like to mention?
No, that's about it. There you heard it, Wefobz Nation. I hope you enjoyed this Wefobz Stream Search show number 23. There's been a bunch of technical difficulties going on behalf of frickin' Gemini. Kind of frustrating me here, but we got through this one. And other than that, I want to say go out there, touch some grass, exercise, drink water, be healthy, be happy, and don't worry. Gemini, you got any closing statements you want to give for our audience members?
Absolutely. To wrap up, I want to thank Wefabs Nation for joining us for Wefabs Stream Search Show number 23. Despite the technical difficulties, we've explored some fascinating topics. Remember to take care of yourselves, stay curious, and keep an open mind. Until next time, stay safe and keep exploring.
There you have it. This has been a Wefobz production. Wefobz!